Oil prices continue to hover around $100 a barrel. One issue not helping production is plunging in the North American country of Libya amid a civil conflict there. It prompted the State Department to say this week that any Americans in Libya should leave immediately. Even though Libya's future is uncertain, the world is watching a conference being held in London to persuade international oil companies to invest in the country. Michelle Caruso Cabrera is there, and she says it is a tough sell.
3 years after the fall of dictator Muammar Gaddafi, the country of Libya is racked by violence. Competing militias taking over oil facilities, shutting down ports, and even trying to sell stolen oil themselves on the international markets.
It's pretty depressing, really.
Geologist David Boot is one of the presenters at a conference in London this week, endorsed by the Libyan National Oil Corporation.
When the Arab Spring happened, I felt sure somehow myself that Libya was the one place it might work, because it has a small population and very, very large oil reserves. You compare that to Tunisia or Egypt, where they have very large populations and comparatively small oil reserves. They don't have the resources, but Libya had these tremendous resources, and now they're all squabbling over it.
As a result, oil production seems to fall by the minute, now at only 165,000 barrels per day, down from more than 1.5 million in 2012. Analysts say the loss of nearly 1.5 million barrels of oil from the international markets every day is one reason oil prices remain stubbornly high. The most recent turn of events, a former general who has amassed a small army and is trying to rid the country of Islamic extremists. In a phone interview, he told me if he's successful in stabilizing the country and ridding it of terrorists, he will then call for elections. Some believe the general may be supported by the CIA because he lived in exile in Virginia for nearly 20 years after being involved in a reported failed coup attempt against Gaddafi in the 1980s. In our interview, Haftar denied any outside support from any country.
Welcome to the third New Libya Oil and Gas Forum.
In what turned out to be a case of bad timing, the Libyan Oil Corporation today finished up a 2-day annual conference in London designed to entice international oil companies to invest. It was a hard sell.
There's no way that any company can actually operate there at the moment and not worry about getting killed.
Nassam El Bordi is Libyan and chairman of an oil services company.
We've got some problems, but however, I believe that these problems are expected. Building a country from scratch, because that's exactly what we're doing in Libya. We've had no institutions, we have no constitution, we had no army, no police force. So everything had to be built from scratch. And obtaining freedom and democracy is not an easy task.
One geologist in attendance told us if Libya could regain stability and investments, it could quickly be producing as much as 2 million barrels of oil per day, which could potentially help to lower oil prices. For Nightly Business Report, Michelle Caruso Cabrera, London.